Hey guys, I'm Steve. You are watching Flipping Johannesburg. This is episode 5 of the Project W house flip. It's taking shape and we have picked up the pace in a big way. This episode is jam-packed. We're draining this pool today. We've got solar related stuff going on, painting, irrigation, lots more. And I'm really excited. So let's do it before I by mistake fall into this pool. It's day 64 on site and the grind continues. For me, the grind never stops, but not only for me, the neighbors as well. You can hear they're doing some construction also. But first off, as you can see, a lot has happened and it actually looks like a wild animal has burrowed in this garden, but it's basically irrigation as well as a bit of work by the pool here. Instead, we're gonna do a retainer wall here. It's gonna look a lot more clean. And walking through, you can see the irrigation pipes being laid around the house. On the roof, we have finished with the repair and the waterproofing. We had quite a few cracked roof tiles that we still had to replace, but that's complete now. And we've got Dirkman here today working on the solar panel hooks, which is quite exciting. And then on the house, we have matched up with the existing finish with the Tyrolean machine and then primed. As you can see, windows and doors are underway with the painting. And when it comes to the French door installation, as mentioned, we didn't actually finish in a day. So it was good that we made the provision security wise, because we did need to go into that next day. And in the patio space here, remember there was no roof. So these walls took a lot of moisture, and some sections like here, the plaster was hollow and loose. So we removed these sections and replastered just to make sure it's 100%. And then we've obviously prepped here. Roof is complete. It's looking really nice. And follow me along this way. You can see the route of the irrigation. We've kept the pipes to the side. So either the corner of the beds or like up against this wall. And it's so that we obviously know where the pipes are, but also we don't want to be digging up the lawn. We're trying to retain the lawn and keep it looking nice. Come through this side, and before we chat more about the irrigation, I want to show you what we've done. We've done extensive waterproofing, and as you can see over here, come a bit closer, we've waterproofed down to the foundation, and this is an important point. You know, thinking years ahead, you don't want any rising damp issues. So we've made sure that it is sorted. And then, so I want to show you guys, this is where the borehole is. So the setup we're going for is the borehole will supply a tap over here, and it's going to supply the entire irrigation system with the control panels being housed over there in that box. So this is separate to the main line coming in that side, but we do have an exciting water backup system planned over there with Solved. So watch this space. So as you can see, the irrigation runs around the edges, the same as the back garden, and it's basically going to cover the entire lawn spaces. We had quite a few incidents of them hitting electrical cables supplying the garden lights, but that's why we've got LMS on call to fix that where needed. The interior of Project W on day 64. Tiles are looking a bit dirty, but at least we have tiled. Space is looking a little bit lighter because we've been skimming and getting first coats on. And next week, the cabinets will be in here. So Jonathan, for this section, obviously there's going to be a TV here, so it's going to be like a cabinet. So obviously you've got to think of bringing power and that sort of thing through to here.
100%. So as you can see, at the bottom here, we've brought a 25 mil conduit from the roof. This 25 mil conduit is going to act as a TV point. Yeah. We're going to come through and drill through this wall and bring a point to the center, so when the wooden panel is in the back, obviously it can come through.
Okay.
On this other side, we've brought power down looping off another plug. We'll bring it across the back wall and bring a plug here mounted on the wooden panel that will be there.
Brilliant.
When the carpenters obviously install it.
That's exactly what I was going to say, because the TV will most likely be in the middle section,
100%.
and you obviously got to think of plugs and that, so at least it'll all be sorted and nicely concealed there.
100%.
And with the cupboards in, it'll look quite neat.
Definitely.
Shot. Thanks, man.
Perfect, thank you.
And then heading up into the dining, you can see the painting is well underway in terms of the windows, starting to look really crisp and clean with the white, and very crisp in terms of the ceiling. And also in a week's time, this will be a full-fledged kitchen with Moremi Kitchens. We've got Dirkman Solar here today, and I want to give you a bit of a background. Dirk is at the helm of the company, and he gained a lot of experience at an international engineering company. And he channeled this into his vision of Dirkman Solar, the solar company that you can trust. And we're chatting about the Project W solar requirements today.
Okay, cool.
Hey Dirk,
How's it, Steve?
good to see you. Are you excited to be on site again with us?
Yeah, we're always loving an experience with flipping Johannesburg and obviously the team. So yeah, we're really glad to be here and we're excited.
Awesome, glad to hear that. Should we head into the garage to chat a little bit about the system?
Let's go. Cool, thanks, Steve. Yeah, so just looking at the DB board, it's always great if it's in the garage. It makes the installation so much simpler than when it's inside a corridor in the house, for example. The other point is, with a newly built house and having the foresight of introducing a solar system, if not from the start, is to start with a bigger DB to house all of the additional switchgear for the solar system.
And you mentioned this is the space, this little recess, where the battery and inverter will be housed.
This is such an ideal space. It's a blank canvas and it's almost as if it was designed and built for a solar system. So you have a nice featured inverter, your battery bank hanging down here, you'll have DC switchgear, AC switchgear.
Something just tripped. That's why we're working on the
Great.
board, yeah.
No, we're excited. This is going to make such a beautiful install.
So Dirk, I know there's a lot of thought that's gone into where the solar panels need to be positioned. You've selected this section of roof and the section on that side. And what are the reasons behind that?
And this was found to be the most ideal spot. It's very close to the garage, minimalizing cable lengths and costs. The grouping of the panels will be clustered compactly close to each other, which is also very ideal. In the considerations was things like trees in the proximity to avoid shading, and then just practically looking at where your valleys and your ridges are to allow for the installation to be as simple as possible and neat as possible.
And you mentioned that this east-facing section gives you morning sun, and the west-facing section afternoon and evening sun.
Steve, so here you can see the 6 panels on the east-facing roof space and the 6 panels on the west-facing roof space. This, for example, just simulates the tree in the front end of the property, which just proves here that its shading prediction will be clear of the panels.
That looks great.
Okay, Steve, so what we're doing here today only is roof hook installation onto the roof truss, as well as installing the PV cabling onto the sections where the panels will go.
Okay. And the reason we're doing this now is we want to get the hooks in before we paint the roof. And this is always great when you remind us of the timing of these things. And the reason we do this, when you paint the roof, it creates a bit of a seal between the tiles. So we don't want to be lifting tiles afterwards. So that's why the order happens in this way. So quite relevant for renovations or new builds. And then the rails will go on afterwards, but no more moving of roof tiles required when the rails go on. Thanks very much. I'll leave you guys to it. Just promise me you won't move too many roof tiles, otherwise my roof guy is gonna shout at me.
We'll do our best.
Thanks. Hey guys, little update on site. Project W pool is finally being drained. But if you think this is bad, look how hectic this section is here. Pure sludge. The guys are immersed in this trying to clear it out because we're concerned that this little baby pool is not actually linked to the main pool, which would be a problem. We need it to be when the full system runs. So working on this now, but this is really, really bad. Hey guys, switching to vlog mode today, and a big one, check it out, the pool has finally been drained. And yes, it is huge, so deep, and it's going to be a lot of marblite that's required in order to fix this pool. And yeah, from what we removed, it was probably in the state for over 20 years. It was absolutely disgusting what came out of here, and it smelled like sewerage. But particularly this baby pool section that we're calling it, the amount of sludge that was required to be removed from here was really ridiculous. And to our dismay, we discovered that this section is not linked to the main pool. So that becomes such a problem, because in terms of cleaning and maintenance, this section will just get really dirty, and it's actually too deep for a baby pool anyway. So it just doesn't seem viable to turn this into a baby pool, link it to the main pool, because also, yeah, your creepy won't be able to get you to clean it. And I think originally they maybe did this for it to be like a feature planter box or flower bed, but also becomes a bit of a maintenance issue. And that's the thing, we've assessed this wall was actually built after the main pool structure, and you can actually see some of the plaster work on this wall goes over the mosaic on this wall. So we can deduce that this was built afterwards. So it's looking like that the best option will be to demolish this wall and return the pool to its regular or irregular bean shape, instead of trying to do something else with this section. We're just thinking of maintenance and various other reasons, costs as well. So this pool is obviously filthy, so the guys are carrying out an acid wash at the moment. We got some work in the garage today. I see LMS Electrical already here. How's it?
How's it, Steve? How's it, guys? I'm Jonathan from LMS Electrical. We are today rewiring this TV board, upgrading it to something much better, something much neater, an issue 2 board. So basically, yeah, it's an issue 2 surface mounted Samite board. It basically comes with 2 tiers, 2 rows of 20 spaces, so that allows for much more space in the board. It's much safer, it will look much better in the ending.
Awesome. And yeah, we were planning to keep this board, but yeah, like you said, we don't have a lot of space, especially considering the solar stuff that has to come in.
Definitely.
And then I see this is a surface mounted board, which is actually perfect because we save, you know, in terms of we don't have to chase and chop all the mess and all of that.
Definitely.
And we're in the garage here, so we don't mind a surface board, but it'll look neat still.
100%. Like you say, for the solar guys, they will be able to bring their feed to and feed from in the same board, so they don't need to mount their sub board anymore. It's going to just be all in one, much better overall.
Awesome, yeah. And I mean, we can see how much it's already full, and there's still breakers coming in here, like you say. So it was never going to work to keep this.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, I'll leave you guys to it, and I'll set the time lapse up so we can see what you get up to today.
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Steve.
Jonathan. Testing the irrigation. This is a beautiful site. A sight for sore eyes. Ladies and gents, it's day 70 on site. I can't believe we've been at it for 70 days. Well, I can, because it is a big house flip. Today is kitchen installation day 1, and we've brought in the pros to cook up something special. A big shout out to Moremi Kitchens for making sure this flip gets a kitchen worth flipping out over. So you've heard me talking about Innovis quite a bit, and on the last episode we showed these samples. Now Innovis is supplying the boards for the kitchen, and it's a great opportunity to kind of move from small sample boards to real life. And on the bottom you'll see this is the main wood grain finish we're going for, Karlstad oak. The doors on all the bottom units. On the top unit you'll see the doors are in pure white, and then Metro is this lovely textured finish for the internals. Looking really great. It's only day 1 of the installation so far, so let's switch to time-lapse mode and see the guys in action. So this baby pool section. Now at first we started removing this wall manually with hammers and chisels, but I don't know what magic mix they used because this wall was so strong, reinforced, so we had to bring in the big jackhammer to get the job done. And we're finishing up now, and over here you'll see when the guys are finished with the Marbolite, they'll blend this in so seamlessly. It'll look really great, and yeah, in essence I guess we've made a massive pool even bigger. We have already laid the new pool piping, as you can see over here, and then the next step will be to get the tiled mosaic border in, and then it's a bit more prep before we can get the Marbolite going. So some bad news on site. We've got a blocked sewerage line. And basically in this manhole we saw the levels rising up quite a bit. So we brought in some proper equipment to inspect the line, clean it, and it was then discovered that we have a collapsed sewerage line. The drain camera is amazing. It showed us that the collapsed section of pipe is 15 or so meters from this manhole, which basically leads us exactly to that big tree. And that's the reason we've got a collapsed section of pipe, because of the tree roots. Obviously putting pressure on the pipe, collapsing it. So what we're doing now is the guys are digging to expose the line, and then we're going to reroute with a new section around the tree, join up with the existing line below, and then hopefully it's sorted, but we'll put the camera down again after that just to double check. And that's the thing, it's old homes, massive tree growth. It's not surprising that we have this issue, but it's never great and not a lacquer thing to deal with. day 79 on site, and I want to give you guys a quick update. This is the final look in terms of paint color on the walls. And over here you're seeing the TV unit half complete, but this is a preview of what it's going to look like. We've got a shelf in the middle here for your TV and media stuff. And walking through, we've got a linen cupboard over here. This house actually didn't have a linen cupboard. And this is the big one. Moremi Kitchens has completed the kitchen installation, and this is what it looks like. And we really tried to maximize the space while still having this area in the middle to move around. And that's why I don't think a kitchen island layout would have worked here. You've got great countertop space over here. A prep bowl will be going in there. Double fridge section. Great amount of cupboard space if you consider the top units. Glass doors over here. We've got integrated lighting at the bottom. The section for the dishwasher over here. This is your main sink section. And I just want to mention how great these colors and finishes turned out. Really stand out, complementary, and it'll all come together obviously when the stone and tiled splashback are in. And this is where it becomes really clear why we had to create this section for your washing machine, appliances, and a really spacious pantry and broom cupboard on the side over here. And I always love showcasing the accessories we go for, which is Rocco fittings. We've got a really stylish and functional integrated bin, 2 bins over here. We have a spice rack right next to the oven and stove with an integrated cutting board divider. And then we've got the veggie basket over here, and then these dark gray Neptune handles as well. So in order to finish off the space, I need to make sure I've got the appliances sorted: taps, sink, oven, extractor. Then the kitchen stone comes in, easy quartz, supplied by Interslab. And then we tile the splashback. Moremi Kitchens will come back and do some final touch-ups, and then we get the final coat of paint in. And we're still gonna see Moremi transform the main dressing room section, but I'll give you a full house walkthrough on the next episode. So the nature of flips is things don't always go according to plan. So for example, we had our irrigation piping done, neatly installed, but then we discovered this sewerage line issue, which meant we had to dig up, as you can see. And what came with that is, we've got a leak here now because there's obviously been a lot of movement and digging and traffic and in and out. So we need to fix that. But in terms of the sewerage line, I want to give you guys an update. So we've run a new pipe around this tree, because remember the collapsed section of the old pipe was under this tree. And then we put the camera down through this inspection. We had a look, and unfortunately there's another collapsed section of pipe under that big tree. So it's the 2 massive trees that are the problem. And so the guys are digging now again to reroute around that tree, and we're actually putting a new pipe all the way down to the bottom of the property to be safe. So at least we're sorting it out, and we know that the line will be 100% when we're done. Outdoor spaces carry just as much weight as the inside because it's your first impression of the house and it sticks with you. Paving is a big one, and this paving needs to go. There's a company called Creative Stone, and they manufacture highly engineered simulated stone products. And they understand that great design and budget can go hand in hand, despite what people think. So it's amazing to be working with them again. They supplied the beautiful, mesmerizing herringbone flagstone on Project V. This is a detailed CAD design of the proposed paving layout. Everything measured, visualized, and value engineered after a site visit from their design consultants. Specifically for Project W, the wow factor should be where it matters most. So the big areas: driveway, entrance, and entertainment areas. For the driveway, we are using different sized classic cobbles to add texture. For the entrance over here, we're going with charming manor flagstones as offset stepping stones. Their team gave me ideas I hadn't even considered, like a feature section outside the main bedroom, creating a quaint patio, adding planter boxes throughout to bring in that all-important soft landscaping, and for less important areas like utility sections and side walkways, to keep it cost-effective by using gravel instead of pavers. So the groundwork has been laid, you've seen the vision. Now it's time to meet the installers who are going to make it all happen. Hey, Krista.
Steve,
Great to see you again.
great to see you.
Welcome to Project W.
Yeah, yes, excited. You guys have come a long way since the first assessment. So,
Yes, yeah.
Yes,
I'm glad
yes.
you're saying that. Nice progress. And yeah, Precision Paving will be doing the paving installation. And yeah, great to have you guys on board on Project W.
No, we're excited. We're excited.
Awesome. And tell me, what is this piece of equipment that you've
Yeah,
got
so
going?
it's a almost dropped it. It's a device we actually imported from the UK. It's pinpoint, call it GPS location. So it tells us our X, Y, and Z axles. So it measures out the whole area, gives us a drawing of the area, so we know exactly the square meterage where the water actually runs to. So it just helps us be more accurate and precise, as our name says. Yeah.
That is brilliant and very important in the planning phase, and especially
yes,
for
yes.
the big areas which we're going to transform in terms of paving. So it's driveway and entrance.
Yeah.
And obviously you know the products that are going in here, and it's new stuff.
Yes, like I said, with different projects comes different challenges.
Yes.
And I know you spoke about maybe repurposing a few of the things, which is one of your ideas, and I think that's maybe one of the best ways just to keep the budget down. Go ahead.
100%, and I'm glad you brought that up, because repurposing is so important on flips. You know, these old homes, there's great stuff that can be worked
Yes,
with,
yes,
and people often overlook it. But let's head round the back and take a look.
Perfect, let's do that. Because of this big area, you don't want to do too much paving.
Yeah.
And I think maybe going with the gravel route here, because there's going to be a car parking.
You need to put like a weed guard underneath that gravel. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so obviously once we get going, we want to scarify the soil, get all the levels out, put some weed control into the ground, and then you put a weed guard sheet down for the gravel to sit on top.
Brilliant.
So you don't have all these weed problems going through your gravel, and it's not a maintenance thing over time.
That's
so
brilliant. That makes a lot of
weed
sense.
guard, gravel, and you should be set to go. We must just make sure the base is leveled and compacted. So we just want to make sure the water slopes through the gravel all the way through, no weeds growing.
So, Krista, you've seen these pavers we got here.
Yes.
Now, and also these.
Yeah.
Can we reuse these, for example, for this section outside the back door?
Yeah, if they don't have visible damages or cracks like this,
Yeah.
and we got good condition pavers, we can try and uplift these nice. If you lay them down nicely with gravel in between, give them a good clean, it'll be as good as new.
Lekker, makes me happy.
All right.
So, Krista, moving to the pool area. Now, firstly, pool repairs and demolition are complete. So there was that wall in the middle, that's done. Now, we spoke initially about me wanting to keep these pavers, and I know from your side of things, it's better, easier to work with new stuff.
Yeah.
But I looked at this and thought it really can be reused. And then you came in with really great suggestions. Firstly, this wall, there was no wall here. It was just those big stones, and you suggested to build this retainer wall, but to push it in a little bit, which we've done, and that allowed us to save some of the pavers, which we're actually going to need for the repair job. And you mentioned it is generally hard to match up to existing pavers like this, and that's why we've made the decision to kind of push it in a bit and have these old pavers to work with, so we don't run short.
Yes. Especially on the older houses, previous installation. So these are the previous gen, call it previous gen clay pavers. So they all have straight edges. If you had to replace them with new clay pavers, they will have the beveled edges. So doing repairs with off-color pavers not always going to work out. Yeah, Steve, so it looks like we got our work cut out for us on this project. It is quite a big one.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to see everything come to life. So obviously, step by step, we're going to have to start taking out these bricks, scarifying the soil, getting our levels and everything correct, treating the base, compacting it.
Yes, it's a lot of stuff. Let me stop you there, because we want to see the full steps in the next episode.
Yes.
But I mean, it's obviously thorough, the whole process. And I was thinking, highly engineered pavers plus highly experienced and thorough installers has to equal a game-changing transformation.
I think you're going to be surprised how much the paving actually adds value to the house. And I think the products you've chosen or settled on is really premium products, and I think you're going to have a good looking home once you're done.
Awesome, can't wait. I wish you could fast forward till then, but we'll see you in a few weeks.
Perfect. Appreciate your time, Steve. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching this episode, guys. And remember, there's 5 episodes currently out, and it's actually amazing to go back to the start and watch all the progress at once. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Cheers.
Flipping Johannesburg is constructed by St. Gobain, and Steve is outfitted by Curve Gear.